There is an uncomfortable truth happening inside clinics, hospitals, and doctors' offices across America, a truth most older women have never been told, even though it affects their health, their safety, and even the accuracy of their diagnoses. Doctors are now speaking out about something they once avoided discussing out of politeness, embarrassment, or fear of sounding insensitive. But now many of them say they must talk about it because the consequences are simply too serious to ignore. The way older women dress to their medical appointments, the clothing they choose, the layers they wear, the shoes they put on, the accessories they bring, directly influences the quality of care they receive. It affects what doctors can see, what they can detect, and even how thoroughly they examine a patient. And while this truth may feel uncomfortable, it is real. A 72-year-old woman named Helen from Iowa learned this lesson the hard way. She went to her appointment wearing several layers of clothing because it was cold outside. A sweater, a thick blouse, a camisole underneath compression stockings, slip-on shoes and jewelry she forgot to remove. Because she had difficulty undressing, the nurse simply checked her vitals over her clothing. The doctor gave her a quick abdominal check, listened through her sweater, and sent her home with renewed prescriptions. 2 months later, Helen collapsed in her kitchen. Doctors soon discovered she had been developing a dangerous abdominal aneurysm during that time, something that might have been detected earlier if her doctor had been able to examine her properly at that appointment. When she told the ER doctor what happened, he said something she never forgot. "Helen, we can't examine what we cannot access." That sentence changed her life. It also reveals a painful truth affecting millions of older women every year. Doctors are trained to look, listen, press, palpate, measure, observe, and detect subtle changes in the body. But when clothing blocks access to your skin, your joints, your abdomen, your back, or your legs, doctors cannot see what they need to see, and sometimes the consequences are dangerous. This video is not about fashion. It's about survival. It's about protecting older women from being misdiagnosed, ignored, or rushed through appointments simply because their clothing made the exam harder or less thorough. Today we're going to uncover 6 important truths all older women must know about how dressing for a medical appointment affects their care. These truths will help you avoid misdiagnoses, reduce risks, improve communication, and make it easier for doctors to catch problems early when they are most treatable. You will hear real stories of older women who unintentionally made their exams harder without realizing it. You'll also learn what doctors wish they could say gently but honestly, that certain clothing choices can delay care, hide symptoms, create examination barriers, or even cause misread test results. This is not about shaming anyone. This is about empowering you with knowledge that most seniors never receive. Before we go deeper, I want to address something important. If you have ever felt judged, rushed, or dismissed during a medical appointment, I want you to understand something clearly. You deserve thorough, respectful care every time. But good care requires access. Doctors cannot help you if they cannot see you, touch you, or examine you properly. Many older women believe they're dressing politely or modestly, for the doctor not realizing their choices may actually make the exam incomplete. Doctors will rarely say anything because they don't want to embarrass patients, especially older women who may already feel vulnerable. But today we break that silence not to criticize, but to protect. Before we begin the 6 important truths, I want to gently ask, if you find this information valuable, please like this video, subscribe to Senior Ways, and comment below. Your engagement helps us reach more seniors who deserve safer, better health care. Now, let's reveal the first 2 truths doctors wish every older woman knew before stepping into a medical exam room, starting with the one that leads to the most misdiagnoses in women over 60. Truth number 1, thick layers prevent doctors from catching hidden symptoms. The first truth doctors rarely say out loud is simple, but extremely important. Thick layers of clothing prevent medical professionals from detecting many early warning signs of serious conditions. When older women bundle up in sweaters, cardigans, undershirts, scarves, compression garments, and sometimes even shapewear, They create multiple barriers that make it almost impossible for doctors to perform a proper exam. Most seniors don't do this intentionally. They do it because they feel cold, more easily want to be modest, or simply didn't expect the doctor to need full access. But the consequences can be dangerous. A 68-year-old woman named Barbara from Maine told her doctor she had mild stomach discomfort every few days. She arrived at the appointment wearing 3 layers because it was a chilly day. When the doctor tried to palpate her abdomen over her sweater, he didn't feel anything unusual. The exam lasted less than 30 seconds, and she went home. 2 weeks later, Barbara returned with worsening pain. This time she wore lighter clothing, and the doctor was finally able to examine her properly. He immediately felt a firm mass and ordered scans. The results showed early-stage ovarian cancer, something he could have detected much earlier if he had been able to reach her abdomen during her first visit. Doctors say the abdomen, chest, lower back, and legs all provide subtle clues about a woman's internal health. But thick layers hide swelling lumps, skin changes, circulation issues, bruising patterns, rashes, fluid retention, and organ enlargement. These visual and tactile signs often give doctors critical information long before something turns into a major medical issue. Barbara later said something powerful. "I didn't know I needed to dress in a way that helped the doctor help me." Older women often think they're being modest or respectful by staying covered, not realizing they are accidentally preventing the doctor from doing the very thing they came for, protecting their life. Truth number 2, difficult clothing slows down exams and makes doctors rush without meaning to. The second truth is something almost no doctor will ever admit out loud. Clothing that is hard to remove often causes rushed, incomplete exams, not because doctors don't care, but because appointments are tightly timed. Doctors have only a limited window with each patient, sometimes 10 or 15 minutes at most. If an older woman walks in wearing clothing that's complicated, restrictive, or difficult to take off, more of the appointment time gets spent on undressing instead of examining. This includes items like long lace-up boots, tights, or heavy compression stockings, dresses with many buttons, tops with multiple layers, jumpsuits, clothing with stubborn zippers, jewelry that snags tight shapewear that takes minutes to remove. A 75-year-old woman named Denise from California experienced this firsthand. She had knee pain that had been bothering her for months. When she arrived for her appointment, she wore tight leggings under a long tunic dress. The nurse politely asked if she could pull them up so the doctor could examine her knees, but they were too tight. Removing them took several minutes and required help. By the time Denise was finally ready, nearly half the appointment time had passed, and the doctor had only a few minutes to examine her. He quickly checked her knees, asked a few questions, and sent her home with pain medication. No imaging, no deep exploration, no physical tests. But the truth was much more serious. Denise had a torn meniscus. It wasn't until 6 months later, when her pain worsened, that a different doctor ordered an MRI and diagnosed the problem correctly. When Denise told a friend at church what happened, the friend said, "Honey, never wear anything to the doctor that slows them down." And that's exactly the advice doctors wish older women understood. Difficult clothing doesn't just waste time, it leads to rushed exams, missed details, and incomplete assessments. Doctors aren't being careless. They are simply working within the time limits the system gives them. Older women deserve thorough care, and the right clothing helps make sure they get it. Truth number 3, certain clothing prevents doctors from seeing subtle but life-saving skin changes. The third truth is something dermatologists, cardiologists, and primary care doctors talk about privately, but rarely say directly to older women. The skin tells the truth long before symptoms appear. Skin is one of the first places serious health problems show up: cancer, circulation issues, heart disease, diabetes, complications, nerve damage, and even autoimmune disorders. But many older women unknowingly hide these early warning signs under clothing that covers too much of their arms, legs, back, and chest during routine visits. Doctors need to see the skin, not because they're being intrusive, but because they're trying to protect you. A 70-year-old woman named Lorraine had persistent fatigue, swollen ankles, and occasional chest pressure. She went to her appointment wearing long sleeves, compression socks, and a high-necked blouse. She didn't want to undress because she felt embarrassed about the aging skin on her arms and legs. Her doctor checked a few things and recommended more rest. But he never saw what he needed to see: a faint blue-purple discoloration around her lower legs and a cluster of tiny red spots on her chest, markers of a circulation issue called venous insufficiency. 3 months later, Lorraine ended up in the ER with a dangerous clot developing in her leg. When the ER doctor heard she had seen her doctor recently, he asked a simple question: "Did they examine your legs?" She shook her head. "I kept them covered." The doctor paused, then said gently, "Your skin was warning you, but no one saw it." This truth is difficult, but essential. Older women may feel self-conscious about wrinkles, veins, age spots, bruising, or loose skin, but doctors are not judging. They are looking for patterns that could reveal early signs of illness. Skin changes are often the first signal that something deeper is happening, and giving your doctor access to that information may save your life. Truth number 4, shoes and accessories can hide balance problems. Doctors need to evaluate. The fourth truth may surprise you. The shoes older women wear to appointments can completely change how doctors interpret their mobility, balance, and fall risk. Many women in their 60s, 70s, and 80s arrive in slip-on shoes, backless sandals, thick boots, heels, or footwear that alters how they walk. Others wear jewelry or accessories that limit movement, such as tight bracelets that restrict wrist flexibility, long necklaces that get in the way during exams, or handbags so heavy they alter posture without the doctor realizing it. Doctors say footwear is one of the biggest clues to senior health, yet it's also the most commonly hidden. Shoes tell doctors whether you're stable, whether your gait is natural, whether your risk of falling is high, and whether your joints are strong enough to support your body. A 77-year-old woman named Janice always wore stylish heeled boots to her appointments because she felt more presentable in them. She didn't want to look frumpy, as she put it. During her visits, her doctor always noted that her walking seemed slightly unsteady, but she never connected the dots. Then one day, Janice came in wearing soft, flat sneakers because she was in a hurry and didn't have time to put on her usual boots. Her doctor immediately noticed a dramatic difference in her stride. She walked more smoothly, more comfortably, and with better balance. The doctor asked her to try walking both with and without the boots in the exam room. The difference was shocking. The heels had been masking mild neuropathy, nerve damage that her boots made worse. When the doctor finally saw her natural gait, he ordered tests that revealed early peripheral neuropathy, which they were able to treat. Janice later said, "If I hadn't worn sneakers that day, I might not have been diagnosed until it was too late." Shoes change posture. Shoes change balance. Shoes change judgment. Doctors need to see you walk the way you naturally walk, not the way your footwear forces you to. Accessories matter too. Long necklaces, bulky earrings, and heavy handbags can interfere with physical exams or mask where your body naturally aligns. This isn't about style, it's about safety. Doctors want to see your real body, your real balance, and your real mobility, not the version created by certain shoes or accessories. Truth number 5. Dressing too formally makes doctors assume you're healthier than you really are. This next truth is subtle, surprising, and something doctors admit only in private conversations. How you dress affects what doctors subconsciously assume about your health. They are trained to be objective, but they are also human. And humans read visual cues without realizing it. Older women often show up to appointments looking neat, polished, freshly groomed, and well put together. Many do this out of respect, dignity, and self-pride. Seniors from earlier generations were raised to look presentable, especially before seeing a professional. But here is the hidden downside most women never consider. Dressing very formally can unintentionally make doctors assume you're functioning better than you really are. A 74-year-old woman named Margaret learned this truth after years of being dismissed. She always wore elegant skirts, pearl earrings, and freshly ironed blouses to her appointments. The nurses loved her. The doctors smiled warmly. She appeared organized, capable, and healthy. But what they didn't see was the reality at home. Margaret struggled with severe fatigue. Her hands shook when she tried to cook. She often fell asleep in her recliner during the day. Her daughter handled most of her bills because Margaret's short-term memory had begun slipping. Yet every time she went to a doctor, they would say the same thing. "You seem great, Margaret. Everything looks fine." One day, her daughter insisted on going with her to the appointment. Margaret had been feeling especially weak, so she didn't have the energy to dress up. She wore a simple zip-up sweater, loose pants, and no makeup. She looked exactly how she felt. The doctor examined her, paused, and then asked questions he had never asked before. "How is your energy? How is your appetite? Are you keeping up with daily chores? Do you feel steady when you walk?" Within 10 minutes, he ordered tests. Those tests revealed anemia and early-stage heart failure conditions Margaret had been living with for months while looking perfectly fine. She later told her daughter, "I didn't know dressing nicely could hide how sick I really was." Doctors don't judge, but they do observe. And when an older woman looks put together, the brain often assumes she's doing well. That assumption can lead to missed questions, missed tests, and missed diagnoses. Your appearance should reflect your true state of health, not the version you feel pressured to present. Truth number 6. Clothing that's too modest prevents doctors from examining areas women are embarrassed to expose, even when those areas are in danger. The 6th truth is one of the hardest to talk about, but doctors say it is vital. Overly modest clothing prevents proper examination of areas where serious health problems often hide. Many older women feel uncomfortable exposing their chest, back, thighs, or abdomen. As their bodies change with age, weight, gain sagging skin, age spot scars, they often cover up more tightly. They choose long tunics, high necks, long skirts, thick bras, or clothing that hides every curve and crease. But doctors desperately need to see certain areas to evaluate heart disease, breast cancer, circulation disorders, skin cancers, mobility limitations, lymph node, swelling abdominal masses, early diabetic complications. A 69-year-old woman named Teresa had always been extremely modest. She refused to wear gowns at the doctor's office, choosing instead to keep on her long sleeves and loose blouse. During one appointment, her doctor asked if he could examine her underarm lymph nodes because she had been experiencing fatigue and night sweats. She declined out of embarrassment. 2 years later, she discovered a lump in her breast. By the time she went to get it checked, the cancer had already spread to her lymph nodes. When her oncologist asked if anyone had examined that area recently, Teresa realized her modesty had unintentionally delayed a diagnosis that might have been treated earlier. She later said through tears, "I was trying to protect my modesty. I didn't realize I was hiding the very area that was in danger." Doctors do not see your body the way you think they see it. They see anatomy, signals, patterns, and medical clues. Your embarrassment should never prevent a doctor from seeing what they need to see to protect your life. Health must come before modesty, and your dignity does not decrease when you empower a doctor to save your life. Final thoughts. When you look back at everything we've discussed in this video, one message rises above all the rest. Your clothing at a medical appointment is not about fashion, modesty, or presentation. It is a tool that decides how accurately a doctor can evaluate your health. It influences what they see, what they feel, how much time they have, and even what assumptions they make about your condition. Most seniors have never been told this, and yet these small details quietly shape the quality of medical care thousands of older women receive every single day. We began with the surprising truth that wearing too many layers, sweaters, shapewear, or restricting garments can prevent doctors from catching early warning signs of dangerous conditions. When your abdomen, chest, legs, or back cannot be examined properly, something small can be missed, something that might have changed the entire direction of your health if caught earlier. Barbara's story showed how even a simple sweater prevented a doctor from feeling a mass that could have been detected weeks sooner. That experience is far more common than most women realize. Then we uncovered how difficult clothing slows down appointments and forces doctors to rush important evaluations. When precious minutes are spent wrestling with leggings, stiff boots, buttons, or layered outfits, there is less time left for the exam itself. Denise learned this only after months of knee pain that could have been diagnosed earlier if her clothing had not interfered with a complete evaluation. This truth is gentle but crucial. The more time doctors spend undressing you, the less time they have to help you. We also explored how the skin reveals medical problems before symptoms appear, and how covering too much of your body can hide life-saving clues. Tiny discolorations, rashes, bruises, or subtle swelling can tell a doctor what blood tests cannot. Lorraine had no idea that her covered legs were hiding signs of venous insufficiency that later led to a serious scare. Doctors don't want to see your skin to judge your age or appearance. They want to see the truth your skin is trying to tell them. Then we looked at the surprising role of shoes and accessories. Many women don't realize that their footwear hides mobility issues, neuropathy, and balance changes that are essential for preventing falls, one of the most dangerous risks for seniors. Janice only discovered her early nerve damage because she happened to wear sneakers one day. Something as simple as a shoe can completely change the direction of medical care. The fifth truth revealed how dressing too formally creates an illusion of perfect health. Doctors try to be objective, but they are still human. A polished appearance can unintentionally signal stability and capability even when you may be struggling with energy memory or daily tasks at home. Margaret's experience showed how much medical attention can be missed when clothing sends the wrong signal. And finally, we addressed one of the most sensitive truths of all: excessive modesty can hide areas where serious diseases begin. Breast cancer, abdominal masses, circulation problems, and lymph node swelling often start in areas older women are embarrassed to expose. Teresa's story was painful to hear, but it was necessary. Modesty should never come before survival. These 6 truths all point to one message: how you dress at a doctor's appointment is part of your health care, not an accessory to it, not an afterthought, not a detail that can be brushed aside. It is part of the medical process, and understanding it gives you power, the power to help your doctor help you. So here is my heartfelt invitation to you. Before your next appointment, pause for a few seconds and ask yourself, am I dressed in a way that helps my doctor see the real me, my real health, my real body, and my real needs? If today's video opened your eyes, or if you learned even one thing that you will apply in your next visit, please share your thoughts below. Your story may help another woman stay healthy, safe, and informed. If you found this video valuable, please take a moment to comment, like, and subscribe to Senior Ways. Your support helps spread life-changing knowledge to seniors everywhere. Thank you for spending your time with me today. You deserve clarity, dignity, and excellent care, and I will always be here to help you get it.